Hey guys, my name is Dan. I'm the Jazz Shepherd. If you enjoy the content on this channel, please subscribe. It's going to be largely about jazz and some social, racial issues at times. We're discussing the great Arthur Blakey. This is episode 4 in this series. What a legacy in jazz Art Blakey is. And his jazz messenger groups, the lineups, the members that come and go, he never really tries to hold on to these guys. He's willing to push them out the door and have them go into their own great things and have them bring their own young kids into their lineups and keep this jazz thing growing. As I discussed before, hard bop in so many ways is defined by Art Blakey and his groups, and modern jazz is in many ways defined by the drumming of Art Blakey and how he rearranged rhythm and how he approached tempo. We're looking at 1962 now, and he leaves Blue Note for a short period and starts making some recordings at Riverside with Warren Keepnews and Bill Grauer. And this has still got the Hubbard, Fuller, shorter front line. Cedar Walton's on piano. Jamie Merritt's taking a step out, and now we're looking at Reggie Workman on bass, and he's going to be with the group for quite a while as well. Another kind of African drum record is this African beat record. Comes out in '62 on Blue Note. It's probably Solomon Allori, Montego Joe, Garvin Massot. You got Curtis Fuller and Yusef Lateef, of all people, playing cowhorn, thumb piano, tenor sax, flute, and oboe. And then Ahmad Abdul Malik plays bass. It's an interesting little jam session. Really cooks. It's got the great graphic and color of Reed Miles and the Blue Note label. Now we're in a '63, and you can see that he's still doing side work with these guys, his old bandmates. So there's not as many records by the Jazz Messengers coming out. This is Ugetsu, and this is another great Riverside fucking record. And this has Hubbard, Fuller, Shorter, Cedar, and again Workman's on the bass. And he only makes 3 records on the Riverside label, but they're all quality sessions, and they fit in pretty much with what he's doing at Blue Note before this. I only have reissues on OJC of these records, but he does a great job. The OJC does a great job with their sound and quality. Now this is a bit of an outlier. This is from '63, comes out in '64, and he's already made 1 record on Impulse, and that record on Impulse was pretty much a Jazz Messenger record. I think they added Curtis Fuller to the group, who was soon to join the group anyway. This, on the other hand, is a very different recording. It features McCoy Tyner of the Coltrane Group. It's got Sonny Stitt on the sax, and then Art Davis on bass. So it's a bit of a different sounding record. Another beautiful Impulse. I'm a huge fan of these gatefolds. Thick spines, beautiful glossy laminated covers. You know, just records aren't really any more beautiful than these old. Look at old Sonny Stitt with the young McCoy Tyner. It's just beautiful. There he is, the giant himself. So these records they're so priceless in so many ways because they document such a crazy time in Black American history and in music. And American music has shaped the world's music in so many ways, especially the music of the Black Africans. These African Americans just have taken their desperation and their difficult surroundings and reinvented so much of the music that the rest of the world has listened to ever since. Now in '64, he's back on Blue Note, and this is recorded in Blue Note in '64, released in '64, and it's Hubbard, Fuller, Cedar Walton, Wayne Shorter, so it's the classic sextet once again. Here's another album back on Riverside, and I think this might have been a live one. Yep, it's the same group. It's got a Wellington Blakey on vocals on a couple tracks. But again, fantastic Jazz Messenger stuff Riverside, Blue Note, Impulse, it doesn't really matter. Here's another one from 64, came out in 65, and now Lee Morgan's back in the group. Along with Fuller, Shorter, Cedar Walton. So Hubbard must have gone off on his own way, and Morgan was only happy to come back and sit in with his old friend. This is a weird record. It's from 64, comes out in 64 on the Colpix label, which is a label I can't tell you too much about. And it's got the classic group on it. Morgan, Hubbard, Fuller, Shorter, Workman. But they add a few really interesting musicians. They had Julius Watkins on the French horn. They had Bill Barber on tuba, James Spaulding on alto, and something Davis, Chris Davis or Clyde Clay Davis on the baritone. So it's a fairly big band ensemble piece again, with some interesting choices of horns there. It's not, to me, I don't think it's as good as some of his Blue Note Riverside stuff, but it's still an interesting piece of Blakey history. And then 65 comes along, and again we got Lee Morgan still, Fuller. John Gilmore now is on tenor replacing Shorter, along with John Hicks on piano, and Victor Sproles shows up on the bass. So yet another guy that is a legacy in jazz and a real all-star name. So you see how the group keeps progressing and changing, but the one mainstay is that Arthur Blakey thunder behind the drum kit. I don't have a lot of his recordings after this, and they become very intermittent at this point. The jazz scene's really changing, and into the 70s he's got a few other sporadic recordings here and there. There was a second album on Limelight, which I haven't found or ever picked up when I did see it. This is a weird little thing that comes with John Hendricks, thrown on Prestige in the 70s, and it's got an interesting group to it. John Hendricks, Woody Shaw, Carter Jefferson, Cedar Walton, Michael Howell on guitar, Mickey Bass on bass, and Tony Waters on the conga. Orrin Keepnews of Riverside fame was the guy who produced this session, which, did he end up at Prestige? I don't remember that, but I might have read that before, I don't know. But Woody Shaw's another guy that has a great legacy and great career. And of course guys like Wynton Marsalis joined the group. And it's a pretty, there's a lot of guys that come after 1970 in the Blakey group that he keeps moving along and being this fountain of young jazz cats, this pretty much wellspring. And again, Blakey, I can't get enough of, man. I love him. He's such a piece of jazz royalty, and I hope you all love him as much as I do. Buy his stuff, tell people about Arthur Blakey. He's that important. I appreciate you all checking in. My name's the Jazz Shepherd. Subscribe to my channel, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. Give me some ideas. Put some comments down there. Let me know what you'd like to see me cover. Peace, y'all. Have a good night.